Work with me. Work with me. This top is not working. Can you sit right? Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sandy if you're new, and if not, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, you know what you gotta do. Please subscribe, guys. Help a small channel grow. Like this video if you want to see more edutainment videos like this. And of course, I'm back with another video. So guys, leave a comment down below for me. I will be answering all of your questions because I'm very active in the comment section. Now, I am going to be doing another story time. Today I'm doing a story time that is more edutainment. Like I said, I'm going to be showing you guys, no, I'm going to be telling you guys what it took for me to get my license, how long it took for me, and all that, so that maybe my experience can help someone else. So I did ask you guys to send me a couple of questions that I will be answering at the end of this video, so stay tuned. If perhaps, you know, you're interested in getting a license, maybe not, I don't know. What do you think? So the beginning of my journey was not exactly the smoothest. Guys, I was very anxious. I've always been anxious, and I was procrastinating for a good year. The year of 2017 was a waste because I was procrastinating. At the time I was of age. I could have gotten the license then, and I was working at a law firm as a receptionist. I had the money and the resources to do and just be done with that license and get it, right? But like I said, I was very anxious, and my mom really did try to urge me to do better, to kind of just get over it and start somewhere. So yeah, I was just not having it that year. It just wasn't happening, guys. It wasn't happening. So I was like, okay, I was procrastinating the whole year. But then I did start that year, which was 2017. I started studying for the theory test. Now, if you've never heard of anything in regard to the license, you have to do 3 tests: a theory test, a yard test, and a road test. So I was at the beginner stage and I started studying. They have this entire book that they wrote about, you know, the test and that you have to study and things that you actually have to know as a driver, So yeah, I had the PDF version of that book and I was studying. I started studying it when I was at work, you know, when I started reading, getting myself, you know, familiar with the terms and the stuff that I needed to know. So I took about a week or 2 or 3 weeks reading that book so that I really get to know everything about it. And I just read for 32 pages a day. And I booked the test. I was like, yeah, we have to do this. We have to start. As much as I procrastinated the other steps, I did get started in 2017. So I booked the driver's test and I have receipts here to prove it. If I decide to post this on the page, I'll just take a screenshot or something. I'll just take a picture and put it like up here or something. So to book the test, it's obviously going to be in English because English is a universal language, so you have to know some English. You have to book each and every one of the tests. Like, you don't just wake up and like, I'm gonna write the test. No, it doesn't work like that. You pay a small fee to book the test, and I paid 52 pula to book this test. You could have your instructor book the test for you, but they usually charge like 10 pula over the actual cost, and usually do like a mass booking for their, you know, their driving school. So people do that. I did this one myself actually. I decided, you know what, like, it's not a big deal. I'll wake up in the morning, I'll head over and I'll get this done, and I did. So it was 52 pula to book this test. Now, the requirements for getting a license itself, you have to be 18 years old. In terms of citizenship, I'm not really sure of what happens with the foreigners or what documents are required. But to book all these tests, obviously they need proof that you're Botswana, and the best way to do it, not Botswana, but you they need to know your nationality. So your identity card is needed, and of course the money is needed. So don't just take off without your identity card. Either way, it's illegal to go around without your identity card, in case you didn't know. If you're caught, like, you could actually, I don't know, go to jail or pay something, depending on the police officer or whatever. So yeah, you got to learn something today from me. That's something I'm proud of. So I booked the test. Comes day of the test. Who's anxious? This girl. Very anxious. I was so anxious. Sweaty palms. I was really I was not taking it well, and you have to show up like an hour or two before the time, you know, because you don't want any mix-ups. You need to be there, just be there on time. Okay, so I was there on time because I was anxious and I needed to kind of calm myself down a bit before I did that test. And guys, it's a written test or you do it on the computer. Now I did mine at Fairgrounds Mall, and that one is a computerized theory test. So maybe if you're not familiar with computers, don't let them book a test for you at Fairgrounds. I don't know, but I do know that you can leave town to write a test. I don't know how that works. Like, if other locations, testing locations are full, you can find yourself out of town just to write a 30-mark test. By the way, it is marked out of 35. It is anxious. And guess what I got? I got 26 over 30. That is the borderline. That is the cut-off mark for passing the test, you guys. That is the border mark. Like, anything below that, it's over for you. You have to write it again. There's a time that they give you between you passing the test and when you should have your license, or else you have to redo the test again. Last I checked, I think it was 2 years. So if you get this test, if you pass your test, you have 2 years to do your license, to get it done. So it's not even an issue of, I don't have money. You have 2 years to do this. So if that time elapses, it's really all on you, really. I failed, didn't I? But you guys, to pass the test, always make sure that the answers that you pick always favor other drivers. Don't be a boastful driver. So they asked me, you're on a cliff, right? You're on a mountain or whatever, and on this side, I don't remember how it was structured, but this is what the question was saying. On one side is literally drop dead, like you're just gonna fall off. You know those roads that are along a mountain? So a rock falls on your lane, and a huge rock, right? And it's an obstacle on your lane. They asked me, what would you do as the driver? Would you drive off the cliff? Would you endanger the other driver and get on their lane? Well, they don't say endanger, but they said, would you drive into the other lane? And there was an oncoming car, by the way. Or would you rather hit the rock? Driving off the cliff, it's a suicide mission. You're gonna die for sure. Getting on this lane, you're gonna kill that guy and yourself. And one of you is definitely gonna stare off the cliff anyway. So I think I picked just hit the rock, because that way you stand a higher chance of living, and this person will not panic and kind of drive off the road and both of you die and stuff like that. I said you guys can just hit me up on Instagram if you want to know the driving school I went to, because if they see potential in you, they push you to do it quickly and pass and just move on with life, get a car, move on. So what happens was, you guys know there's a fee that you pay monthly towards your driving school. Usually around 400, 450, 500, depending on whether you're a student, whether you're working, the driving school itself. So I was paying, I think, around 400 at the time, because this is 2 years back, and at the time the prices didn't really, and I wasn't going anyway, so it wasn't like a driving school in town that cost like 500, 550, 6. I know the crazy ones charge 6, I have heard. So you have to book the yard test. So I get into the yard test, and I start driving now. So the yard test is basically testing your driving skills around stuff like packing. That's basically all of it. You learn different types of packing and how you maneuver in that space. So you know, there's the forward, there's the back, like there's the L1 where you like move from one place to another and you use reverse. There's this diagonal kind of packing, and, you know, and then of course there is a situation of flyovers, so they teach you how to balance your car on a slope. So yeah, here I am. That's the first thing I learned. You know what the first thing that happened was? The guy took me to the road, guys. I just got in the car day one. We drove around town. What? You can imagine. I have no idea. And by the way, I'm getting a manual license. You have an option to get an automatic one, but once you get an automatic one, you can't drive a manual. But once you get a manual, you can drive both automatic and manual, because automatic really is just in reverse, go. So yeah, we are driving around town. I was very anxious. He's instructing me. He's telling me, this is the clutch, this is the brake, this is the accelerator, this is the gear, whatever, and you have to, you know all of these things. Guys, I want to say this. I got the license so quickly. I don't even want to drive manual. Like, don't even test me, don't try me. I got my license in 2 months and I drove for 6 weeks. So a girl like that, can you really say she has a driving experience? No. Personally, I just wanted to get the license. I know I'd never buy a manual anyway, so it wasn't much of a big deal for me. I just wanted to be good at this and hopefully maybe practice in the future if I get the chance to. So yeah, that was me, and we drove around town. And yeah, I was very scared. There were school kids crossing the road, and this whole clutch work thing, it was very annoying, guys. It was very annoying. Kind of like how my brother is really annoying right now. He's like literally just standing there disturbing me. He's determined to ruin this video. So yeah, I was driving around town. That was day one, and then we actually got into the yard test. He's like, okay, yard test really tests your clutch work. Like, if you know how to balance the clutch, which helps you in changing gears and kind of getting the car to move and stop and that kind of thing. So that's what you learn in yacht test. That's the first thing they teach you, because once you're on the road, you have to be good at that, because you're changing gears, you're immediately stopping, you're doing all that, you're turning and you're changing gears. So it's kind of crazy. So some people struggle with the whole multitasking, turning, you're stepping on the clutch, you're changing gears. There's a lot of work going on. But you know, I'm good at multitasking, so it wasn't a big deal to brag. But I was so anxious the whole time. I got a hang of it very quickly. Like in 3 weeks, they booked the test for me. I was literally in the yacht test in Gabs at Marwapula, and that's the testing station. So on the test, I want to tell you what happened on the test day. I was sweating like crazy. My mind was not thinking at this point. I think to book the yard test, you needed 52 Bula as well. And also, you need a learner's license. You pay for that as well, I think, to get it once you start the whole thing. So they allow you to move around the road and do all that, because you don't really have your license yet. So if you don't have that and they stop you, you will pay. You'll never get that license. Don't try learning this thing and going around the road without a learner's license. Just don't try it. So I'm at the yard test. I don't remember how many we were, but we went as a group. No, did I go alone? I don't remember whether the yard test I went alone or I was with other people, but the focus was on me at the time, and my head wasn't like, I was very scared, like I was getting those butterflies. And I get into the car, the instructor's literally sitting in front in a chair, and he has this whole hat and hat situation staring me down like, I'm waiting for you to fail this test. I was just there like, oh my god. Guys, I get really sweaty. My palms and feet get really sweaty, so I took my shoes off, right? And I'm really there, and he's like, yeah, start, and I'm just there like, the car went off. That's like ticks and stuff, and I think there are certain areas that you can't fail. You can't get more than, you know, 3 ticks, and you can't fail at all. Like for example, your car rolling back, that's an automatic fail. Like if they ask you about your brake lights, show us the brake lights, all that stuff, how this works, how that works, and you don't know those basics in a car, it's a fail, guys. Very quick act. So I'm there, the car went off the first time, damn, car went off the second time. I was so nervous, like I wasn't thinking, you know. And guess what it was? The brake was literally just standing there. I didn't like push it down. I was like, Sandile, you trying to fail this test, girl? Don't fail on me. I had to put my big girl skin on, and I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna go into this, and that's what I did. And I maneuvered my way around the whole thing. When I left the car, that man, you know what, let me tell you, be nice. Because I actually saw him, and I didn't know he's an instructor, and I greeted him, Tumela and whatnot, but and he helped me with getting something. I don't know what was happening, but I got something, and then finally he was testing, and I'm like, that's the man who's testing me, what? So I feel like he was maybe lenient. Like you could see this girl's really nervous. I mean, if it was someone else, they could have just said, you know what, you're not ready for this, so we're just gonna let you come back another time, go prepare, you know. They could have done something like that, but he was nice. So be nice, be nice. So that's how I passed my ad test. I did all of it perfectly. None of the cones, you're not supposed to hit the cones. I think that's an automatic fail as well. I'm not sure, I can't find my paper, but yeah. Fast forward, this is all in 2018 July, by the way. August now, I passed the test. So I took 3 weeks practicing, went for the test. I took that week as a break, went back to driving school. Of course my instructor was like, why did you disappear, where are you, you need to practice, da 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 da. Yeah guys, I need to take a break, like my anxiety. So I went to we did the yard. I went back to the driving school for the road test. To prepare for the road test, obviously you have to book, but they book only when they see that you are ready for the test. Now there are a lot of people that I did find there who have been doing this for quite some time, but yeah, I kind of left them there, unfortunately. So yeah, road test, we go around, you know, I learned the rules of the road, follow the speed limit, that's a basic. When you see these signs, this is what it means: slow down, stop, don't have your wheels on top of the marks on the road, don't find your car maneuvering around like the borderlines. That's all that, those things are fails, and those are things that are taken very seriously in a test, very seriously. And the mirror thing, I can't stress enough. Like when you turn a certain direction, you have to kind of look back, because if there's somebody turning behind you and perhaps they cut a corner, that you guys might bump into each other. So you always have to check that. You always have to check your rear view mirror. I can't stress this enough. Every 10 seconds, 5 seconds, like, and you have to make sure your instructor is noticing this. Don't just do the, you really gotta do the whole turning thing. And oh my god, what's happening? Why is my hair like this, guys? What happened here? Okay, so you have to really take it very seriously. And so fast forward, I practiced the road. I was really good. You know, there's certain limits, or what you call it, they don't let learners go past 60 kilometers when you're still learning how to drive. I mean, how we don't want accidents here. So the whole hump thing, like you have to, when you reach here, you have to be at 20 kilometers. You have to slow down, so you're at 20 kilometers. If there's a pedestrian crossing, don't find yourself just like driving straight through it. You have to show that you recognize that this is somewhere where pedestrians cross. You have to kind of stop a little bit and then stop completely, move, and then when it comes, you slow down. Actually, you don't stop in the middle of the road, but I mean, you only stop at the stop lane. Like you have to stop, like you don't slow down. Even if there are no cars, you don't do the whole slow down and just get in thing. You will fail, I'm telling you, you'll fail, period. The circle, you guys, come on, when you're on the outer lane, you have to kind of know that The outer lane is for the first exit and the second exit, and then this middle lane is for people who are going all the way around and back. You have to be in the right lane and change at the right time. You can't be like changing at the end and perhaps doing the whole that gets in the whole thing, and you can't. Even if you're a good driver, if you have that reckless behavior in a road test, you will not pass. Period. That's all I have to say. So the road test, there's also a situation of the slopping. Like if you're unlucky and you go to a place where there's a slope and perhaps you haven't mastered that perfectly yet, but then again, why would you want to get a manual license if you haven't mastered that yet? Just saying. Don't kill me for it. So yeah, you have to know all those things. You have to be ready. Don't sign up for a test when you're not ready. So that is basically all the stuff that I had to tell you about the test. I passed my test. I literally went into the road. I remember the slope. There's a slope. There's a slope. Hold on. At Marapula, there's a slope. When you leave the driving test area, whatever that place is called, there's a slope there. So that first part is on its own, the test. Like I went with like 9 other people. I think it was about 6 of us or 7. I was the only one who passed that day. It was a very sad thing. Yes, I was happy you got your license, but you can't really celebrate it with anyone. You know what I'm saying? Everybody failed. And the one other thing I want to talk about, the whole change that thing, go around thing. You don't just U-turn. You don't do U-turns randomly just while you're on the road and just hit that 360 and go all the way around. You don't do that. You get off of the road, this side of the borderline, indicate. You got to check if the cars are coming, jump to the other side, stop. And then you got to indicate, join the road. That's how you do it. If they ever ask you, do a U-turn. And sometimes some people don't get to learn this in driving school. So now you know. Now you know how to do it. Don't fail and say I didn't tell you. I told you, honey. I told you. So that is all that I wanted to share with you in terms of my story time. I know this is going to be a very long video. And I know that a lot of people actually comment, you know, your videos, not comment, but like to hit me up and like your videos are long and whatever. Guys, I can't really be cutting important information off. That's just it on that. So yeah, so the questions, the first one said talk about the road test. It's not a question, it's more of a request. The road test, I think I did talk about it, and yeah, it was very scary, but because the instructor was a little tense. And before leaving, he actually got into his seat and he didn't fasten his seatbelt. And, you know, I feel like had I not asked him to, I probably would have failed that test, because it is your responsibility to make sure that everybody in the car has their seatbelt fastened. So just the beginning of that was like, whoa, this is gonna be a very long drive. But it wasn't. I think he was very convinced that, you know, I am a good driver and I didn't get like 100 ticks, like 100 X's. But yeah, some of them I did feel were unfair because I did do that part. But honestly, it was a good experience. I'm not gonna lie and say it was really hard. I was very scared. Like, I was scared when I got into the car. The minute we left, I put it aside. I'll feel all those feelings later. So yeah. How long did it take? That's up to you to decide. Because like I said, I got the theory test done in 2017, and then I just kind of like, whoo, laid off a little bit. And then I got everything done in 2 months. So it's up to you to decide whether you want to say a year or you want to say 2 months. I don't really know. But looking at the time that it really took to do everything, had I just done it all together, it probably would have been 2 months. So I'll just say 2 months. Which stage was the hardest? I think the hardest thing for me was just generally the anxiety that I had to deal with until I got the the license. That was for me the hardest thing to deal with the whole thing. How do you deal with shady driving schools? I have been enrolled in a driving school for 2 months and have not even done a theory test. Now, what I'm gonna say is I think it's just better to stop wasting money, because I do realize that a lot of driving schools just keep people lingering around so they get those subscription fees until maybe other people can come and replace them. But honestly, I feel like you're paying this money, you're a student, this needs to be done because it's so expensive to do as a student. So I just urge you to find a driving school that does not behave shady. Ask before you join. Ask the people. They will tell you the truth. I mean, if they've been there for a long time, they definitely would tell you, like, you're gonna spend months here, sis, or you're gonna be out and gone in 2 months. So yeah, those are all the questions that I had. Unfortunately, I was hoping for more questions, but I guess people aren't curious about this stuff. But if you did not see this post where I was asking for questions and you still have some questions, leave a comment down below. I'll answer those as well. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know it's been very long, but yeah, do subscribe, do like this video if you like entertainment videos like this. I really did try to make it short, but guys, I felt like I was gonna cut off a lot of information. Now I'm grateful for the 118 subs. When I started this channel, I was at like less than 10 subs in the first 4 or 5 months, because I did a video or two and ghosted for months. But then at the end of 2019, I started posting beginning of December, and I got up to like 50 subs, and here I am with 118. Very slow actually than I had expected. So please do subscribe, help me get to 1,000. That's what I'm trying to get to right now. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next one.